What if the calmest voice you've ever heard was forged in hunger, silence, and pain? What if the man who taught the world to hope didn't get his break until his 50 seconds after decades of closed doors, broken bones, and a heart that kept getting tested? Stick with me, because the journey of Morgan Freeman is not just fame, it's survival with a spotlight. Before the tuxedos and trophies, there was a little boy in Memphis, Tennessee, born on the 1st of June 1937, to May Edna and Morgan Porterfield Freeman. Money was scarce. Food didn't always come. Nights stretched longer when the ache of an empty stomach got louder than sleep. When work pulled his parents north, he was raised in Charleston, Mississippi, by his grandmother, a house that felt like both sanctuary and cage. The South, in the 1,940 seconds and 50 seconds, stamped him with segregation before he even had a chance to speak. But at 9, he stepped onto a school stage and tasted something that felt like oxygen. That tiny applause? It told him he mattered. Then life reminded him it could take as quickly as it gave. At 24, he lost his father to cirrhosis. The silence after that loss settled deep. Yet the pain didn't harden him. It refined him. You can hear that refinement in the dignity he carries in every line, every pause. He tried the uniform next. The United States Air Force offered order, and for a minute he dreamed of fighter jets. But sitting in the cockpit, staring down instruments and the reality of what that job meant, he felt the truth hit. This wasn't his destiny. "I'm not meant to kill," he'd say. So he walked away from stability toward a stage that didn't promise anything. Los Angeles wasn't kind. He studied acting at Pasadena Playhouse while working at Los Angeles City College to keep the lights on. Day job, night rehearsals, rent due, and dinners that sometimes looked like stale bread and watery coffee. Casting rooms dismissed him before he spoke. Sometimes skin color ended the audition before it began. He ping-ponged between LA, New York, and San Francisco, dancing in chorus lines, standing in long, cold audition queues, promising himself, "If I have to starve, I'll still act." His first film appearance, Who Says I Can't Ride a Rainbow? 1,971, barely rippled. TV kept him afloat. Soap roles. Then a long run on a children's show that paid the bills while he built a reputation on stage. The theater became his refuge. Coriolanus, The Gospel at Colonus, and the role that would soon define a generation, Driving Miss Daisy. He collected Obie Awards, not headlines, winning over audiences one honest performance at a time. And then, boom. In 1987, his volcanic turn as Fast Black in Street Smart demanded attention and delivered his first Oscar nomination. The dam finally broke. 2 years later came Driving Miss Daisy, a quiet power that felt like a prayer. In 1994, as Red in The Shawshank Redemption, his narration turned despair into a love letter to hope. That voice measured, human, steady, felt like a hand on your shoulder. In 2004, Million Dollar Baby brought him the Academy Award that told the world what audiences already knew. Then came Nelson Mandela in Invictus. Not an impression, an embodiment. But it wasn't all victory laps. He carried expectation like armor. The same voice people called the voice of God sometimes became a cage every director, every audience, wanting that exact sound, that exact wisdom. He once admitted, he told himself, "I'll do it or die." He wasn't being dramatic. He was naming the cost, and life kept tallying those costs. In 2006, he partnered with Intel to launch ClickStar, a bold, early push to deliver films straight to homes. Visionary? Absolutely. Early? Maybe too early. The platform shuttered soon after, a painful reminder that even great names can't force the future. Then there were the box office bruises, ambitious projects that missed, like Ben-Hur, 2016, and Transcendence. Every flop whispered doubt. He kept working anyway. 2018 brought a gale force storm from another direction. Allegations publicized by a major outlet claiming he'd made women uncomfortable. Morgan Freeman denied any intent to harm, apologized if he ever did, and no charges followed. But reputations aren't ruled by courts alone. For a man whose screen legacy is integrity, the scrutiny cut deep. He did what he's always done, stood steady, kept showing up, and let time decide the rest. His private life carried scars of its own. He married Jeanette Adair Bradshaw in 1967. After 12 years, the marriage ended. In 1984, he married Myrna Colley Lee, a lifelong partner in spirit and craft. For more than 2 decades, their Mississippi home felt like solid ground. But the long hours, the travel, the unshared nights wore at the foundation, and in 2010, they divorced. The headlines screamed about the cost. He understood the real price: years and trust. Family was never a footnote. His children, Alfonso Freeman, Saifullah Freeman, Morgana Freeman, and Dina Freeman, were the through line. So was his step-granddaughter Edena Hines, raised like a daughter. In 2015, her life was taken in a senseless act of violence. "A star that will forever shine in my heart," he said. "Public composure, private devastation. Some grief you carry, you don't conquer." And there was pain that cameras couldn't capture. In 2008, a late-night crash near Ruleville, Mississippi, left his left arm, elbow, and shoulder shattered. Hours of surgery saved his life, but nerve damage left his hand partially paralyzed and opened the door to fibromyalgia, constant, burning pain. That compression glove? Not a fashion choice, a lifeline. He adjusted, switched hands, slowed down, focused harder. "I suffer pain every day," he said, without self-pity. "Name it, manage it, move anyway. Now, zoom out." The man is 88, and still Morgan Freeman. His home turf isn't a Hollywood hilltop, but 124 acres. In Mississippi, beehives humming since 2014, fields of clover and lavender, ancient oaks that remember everything. He co-owns Ground Zero Blues Club in Clarksdale, not for hype, but to keep Delta blues alive. Through Revelations Entertainment, he's kept meaningful stories flowing. On screen, he's stayed visible. Angel Has Fallen, 2019. The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, 2021. Special Ops, Lioness, 2023. And his narration remains a North Star. Our Universe, 2022. And Life on Our Planet, 2023. He even stood at the opening of the 2022 World Cup, reminding the world that presence can be thunder without shouting. He's also a giver, not a talker about giving. The Tallahatchie River Foundation, investing in Mississippi education. The Grenada Relief Fund, after Caribbean storms. Support for evidence-based policing and reform. And projects that protect animals and wild spaces, because legacy should outlive applause. When Gene Hackman, his friend, and on-screen foil in Unforgiven and Under Suspicion passed, Freeman's tribute was tender and plain. He'd lost a brother in the craft. It also marked the quiet thinning of a legendary generation. Time is undefeated, even against giants. If his voice ever steadied you in a tough season, say so out loud. Drop a like for Morgan Freeman, for the bees, the blues, the craft, and the courage. Subscribe if you want more deep-dive stories told with heart. And tell me in the comments, which Morgan Freeman moment lives rent-free in your head, the narration that gave you chills, the role that made you believe, or the line that still pushes you forward.